Man, I really love this because there's a lot of people that kept telling me, China is going to fight on wokeness. China doesn't tolerate wokeness. Don't you know they have a word for it? It's baizuan. It's baizuan. Dude, shut up. Okay? China censors like everyone else. And it's kind of funny because, yes, China doesn't tolerate wokeness. Baizuan literally means white liberal. And the way it's described is a person who only cares about social issues like LGBT, environmentalist, and they do so only on a superficial level just so that they can feel virtuous and full about themselves. So yes, like they actually have a word. You can look it up. Baizou. But that doesn't mean that while the ideology goes in different ways, the reasoning is different. They do the exact same action. Like at the end of the day, the censorship is identical, even though they justify it differently. Okay, so the progressives justify it to protect women. I guess China justifies it to protect men from lewd images because the men, they play the lewd video games and they don't go out to date women. You know, this is so ridiculous as a concept because I kept hearing it when I was a teenager. It's as if there was a tsunami of boobies in my life. Like I was surrounded by women, by thirsty ladies, and I was like, no girls, stay away. I need to play my video games. I mean, that is the reality that people try to create. This is legitimately what they imagine. Now, I'll tell you why people are addicted to video games, because yes, there is a thing as video game addiction. It's because their life sucks. Alright, like they were let down by society. I mean, they go out, people bully them, or maybe they're a little bit more introverted, and people keep hassling them, and they don't know how to talk to a lady, and all of that, right? So people seclude themselves. It's not the other way around. It's not like people seclude themselves, but like everyone is like, hey, let's be friends, let's go out, and they're like, nee. Like that doesn't happen. Or maybe it does, I don't know, but like the cases are very rare. So anyway, looking at Genshin Impact, which by the way, is not just a Chinese game. I mean, it's an international game at this point. My wife loves to play it. It's very relaxing. She likes the green grass and running around, and she doesn't know how to do quests and stuff, but she enjoys the game nonetheless. And apparently this game is too much. It is too much for the Chinese sensibility. So they decided to censor it. No wonder Polygon and Kotaku agree with this, because it's literally the same thing they want. So how did they censor? Well, let's see. Apparently, this lady is wearing too much clothing. So, no cleavage, none whatsoever. It's kind of funny because it reminds me exactly how the censorship started in the West. They started with the cleavage, with the belly button, with all of that. And now it's getting to the point of The Last of Us and Mortal Kombat where you can't tell the difference between a female character and a male character. I mean, the Tila thing, if you know what I mean. So here, similar thing, right? The cleavage is a problem. And then this girl doesn't have breasts anymore, right? Like she got titty cancer. The CCP gave her titty cancer. Same thing here. And it's like so bizarre, right? Because like you would expect that there were levels of gratuitous lewdness that the Chinese government had to step in. But then, like, the way it works is that you have the censors. I mean, there are actual people that work at the government to censor, and they have to justify their paycheck. Because they take the taxpayer money, and they have to justify their existence. So they look at games, and that's what they do. It's like, can you cover this boobie up? Can you cover this cleavage up? Can you make sure that that there is no more skin that we can see here? That's what they do. That is their job. Okay, and if they don't do it, then they might get fired because people will start asking. It's like, hey, this government institution isn't doing anything. Why is it getting paid? But that is the whole purpose of government institutions, is to justify their existence. Like once you create, I guess this is like the Ministry of Culture or something, but like once you create it, it doesn't go away. Like it stays there. Like government exists to expand itself. So once you create it, then it just justifies its existence. And they're the ones that come out with the fear panic. And it's like, oh, if it isn't for us, your children will be mentally poisoned. And it's like, yeah, you go out to a nightclub. You go out to anywhere in town, actually, and you're going to see women that are dressed like this. I mean, this is in reality. This exists, right? None of these costumes are too revealing. I mean, they are fantasy oriented. But if you want, I can take my smartphone and go into a club and you can see the women there. I would probably get a TOS violation on YouTube because they're too skimpily clad. But it's kind of funny because if you go out and you would tell a woman to cover herself up, that's sexism. That's against feminismus or whatever. But obviously in China they have different things. But like I'm pretty sure that China has nightclubs and in China women dress more provocatively. Let's pretend let's not pretend that that's not the case, right? So the reason I made this video is like I want people to stop it with the China thing. It's like China will fight against censorship. Get the fuck out. Since when? And secondly, the thing that is even more hilarious is the way that they justify it differently. Like their ideology is 180 degrees, like completely different. Their rationale for censorship is entirely different than the progressives, but they censor nonetheless. And there isn't a thing like a little censorship, because it just grows. Like I already explained to you how these government institutions need to justify their paycheck. So it's just going to become more and more and more censorious. And I don't think it's going to stop, which is kind of sad because, believe it or not, I actually enjoyed some of the games that came out from China. I mean, I know they're from China, alright, but they're not made by the CCP. It's like people from China that make them. They're artists, they're talented people, and I was liking that. But unfortunately, it doesn't seem that we're going to see more of that. We're going to actually see less. Because recently, the CCP is very interested in censoring a lot of art. And I'll make a video about it tomorrow where you're going to see games that are being censored from being live streamed. We're going to talk about how that affects the West. And secondly, they censored Steam. Now they're doing this. They're making it so that people can only play video games for a couple of hours a day if they're underage. And by the way, like, not everything is a bad idea. Like, don't get me wrong. You know, limiting the amount of time people get to play video games, especially kids, that's a good thing. But I don't want the government to do it. Like, people should have family, and the family is the one responsible for educating the child, not the government. The government doesn't even know the kid's name. What the fuck? So, it's a problem of principle. Because, yes, like, a child shouldn't play 12 hours video games a day, right? That's harmful. But at the same time, the government shouldn't be the one deciding how much hours Billy needs to play. Like, maybe Billy can play 8 hours on Sunday, but throughout the week he can't play at all. So maybe that's how Billy rolls, you know? Like, well, why does President Z get to decide? But anyway, right, let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you in the comment section. Take care.